He'll be a star. That's my opinion. I don't know if he's going to hit, though.
Okay. Let's move on to the Jays system. And at 89, we got a kid that's generating a pile of chatter. Young Mr. Ricky Tideman.
Yes.
Having a great year, isn't he?
He's having a great year. Fastball has taken a tick up over the offseason. He's throwing more strikes. Yeah, it's another guy I don't have any shares in, and it looks like all coming from the left side. So you got a power lefty that looks like he can throw strikes. There's a lot to like there.
Yeah, and the Jays are going to need that arm in the next couple of years, so it'll be interesting to follow his progression. Blaze Jordan.
Oh, love Blaze Jordan.
Yeah.
Kid with crazy raw power. Now here's a different organization than we were talking about with the Red Sox.
Right.
They took a gamble on him a little bit in the draft. This is a guy that would be at these high school showcases and would hit the ball, 450 feet, just huge raw power, would strike out a ton. And they basically sat him down and said, "We appreciate your raw power, but you got to make better contact." So they've been working on him shortening up his swing, and Timmy, it's worked. And now he's making better contact. He's actually not hitting a ton of home runs, but he's got huge raw power, right? It's great bat speed, but that's what you want to do. Teach a kid how to make contact, and then you add the loft, not the other way around, right?
What you're saying is they're not taking the Bobby Dahlbeck key to success route with Blaze Jordan?
That is right. I mean, that's who he could have become. Now, he still might become that.
Right.
But because he is a bit of a free swinger, but it's pretty exciting, and a lot of kudos have to go out to the Boston Red Sox for really making this guy, marching him down the right path. Now, here's another guy. Is he a legitimate top 100 guy? Probably right on the edge, but a very exciting player.
Okay, cool. Time to mention a player that seemingly we've been talking about forever and ever and ever. And that's a young Canadian kid in the Twins organization, Jordan Balazovic. Am I reading this correctly? In 8 starts at AAA, he's sporting a 9.24 ERA.
Yeah, he's lost the strike zone, Tim. Stuff still looks good. So, Tim, I'm not sure what's happened. I don't know if there's an injury. I haven't had any updates. I don't know. I'm just going on my scouting reports from the past, and then looking at the stat line and going, something's going on there. So that's a guy that I need to dig into and find out what's going on.
Yeah, he's getting hit really, really hard this year. Back into the Jays system at 83, we have Jordan Groshans. Where's the power?
Timmy, I once I do the list, I look back and have regrets. This is a guy that I have regrets on, including him. Should have been in the 90s. He should maybe have been off the list. Okay. I don't know, Tim. I mean, it's a sub 400 slug. I'm not sure what he. If I look back, if we go back and take a look at his baseball card, he's had one good half season where he hit, and it was really just 2 months, and then he got hurt, and he can hit, but there's just no other tools there.
Well, yeah, you were looking at 174 at bats this year at AAA. 1 home run.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess I could travel up to Scranton to see him play when the Jays come in, but I haven't had a chance to see him play. But I mean, did they rush him? Because you look back to that 2019 season where he had only 96 plate appearances, but looked great. Hit 337 with a 42 slug. They didn't play in 20, and then they immediately put him to Double-A. He got hurt a little bit to start the season, and he was only 75 games in Double-A. So I'm wondering if they've been rushing this kid.
Well, yeah, he hit 7 homers, last year. Things look to be trending in the right direction. Like you said, the contact skills are all fine, but 1 home run does not quite cut it.
316 slug, Tim.
Yeah, that is not good at all. We've talked plenty about DL Hall.
Hold on, let's take a quick break here.
Okay.
Just trying to keep us on time. We get back, we will talk DL Hall.
Sounds good.
like this free flow of ideas and thoughts, Timmy. This is fun.
Well, again, it's all about you sharing as much information as you can, and for me to get with hard and fast questions, that would require way too much work. So we're gonna pass.
Okay. All right.
I got caught, but hey, we've been doing this long enough where we should be able to carry on a semi-civil conversation.
Yeah, well, we can always have a civil conversation, whether it's a meaningful conversation. That's the question. So where were we on DL Hall?
Yeah, DL Hall. Yeah, eventually, is he going to find home plate a little bit more consistently?
Yeah, if you told me it's in the bullpen, Timmy, I wouldn't be surprised. But I got to tell you, look, I'm really big on what the Orioles are doing. I think it's a really strong front office, very metric-based front office. I mean, Dale Hall's got a great arm.
Right.
They're not the Cleveland Guardians, they're not the Tampa Bay Rays or Los Angeles Dodgers. They're probably in that X group. I'm guessing they figure it out with Hall for him to find the strike zone enough to be effective. But it might be in the bullpen. At the moment, I know they want him to start.
Right. One notch ahead of DL Hall on your list is Brian Bello. Pretty excited about the opportunity to see him on Wednesday?
Very excited. So, look, to me, he and hopefully once everybody sees him, because I had a chance to see him this year, he'll remind you, I think, of Luis Severino, right? Similar kind of build. I thought Severino would be a bullpen arm. I was wrong. So I think the odds lean to Bello being a bullpen arm, but I mean he could defy the odds just like Luis Severino has done. So it's a great arm, Timmy. I'm very excited to see what he can do on Wednesday.
Well, and I'm sure Boston is looking forward to it. Boston needs another starting pitcher.
Well, apparently Chris Sale is about ready. So I think I read something that Sale might have started on Wednesday, but they had already sold out Worcester and decided that they couldn't do that to the fans, which I don't know if it's true. It's a good narrative, but I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds good. At 79, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm sort of souring on Jason Dominguez.
Jason Dominguez, yes, it's
him too.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring up Brian Bello, but anyway, Jason Dominguez. Yeah, I mean, it's going a little bit on just pedigree here, being this high. I think he's going to be a good player. It's not Michael Trout. I mean, when he first came up, people were going crazy about the kind of player that they thought Jason Dominguez could be, and it's not. He's still only 19, Timmy.
Right.
He's got great speed. There is good raw power there. Striking out too much, but he's only 19 years old, and he's in that class that really got screwed by the pandemic, right? So gets signed, doesn't play in his signing year, which most of them don't, then misses the entire 2020 season. Then he starts stateside in 21. And, I think he's still playing catch-up. So let's see what he can do. I'm not ready to write him off yet.
Okay, fair enough. Moving up the board a bit, we've got a pop-up pitcher out of the Cardinals organization, Gordon Graceful.
I think it's Graceful.
Graceful? Yeah, okay. 22 years old. This guy warms the cockles of me heart because he don't walk anybody, does he? Like he's walked 4 in his past 2 outings, but before that he was sitting at 6 walks on 70-some innings pitched. Impressive.
Yeah, look, it's probably a mid-rotation guy, but if you don't walk anybody, it's hard to get in trouble, right? So even if you give up a ton of home runs, and the stuff's okay. The stuff is average to slightly above average, but when you don't walk guys, Timmy, you can be successful. I mean, Joe Musgrove, that was his kind of pedigree coming into the league, and he got better, started to show more command. Still doesn't throw all that hard, and he's turned out to be a pretty darn good pitcher.
Well, and the Cardinals have found a few good pitchers over the years, haven't they?
They have indeed. So, I like Graceful. I have him on, I think, every Dynasty League. So I had a chance to learn about him early in the season and went ahead and grabbed him. So,
yeah, at 75, we've got the Royals' Nick Pratto taking a step in the wrong direction this year.
Yeah, I mean, look, we saw what the Royals did with MJ Melendez, who, quite frankly, Tim, looks awesome. That guy looks really good. So athletic, huge power, making better contact. And it looked like that's what Nick Prado was doing, but he hasn't made the kind of contact gains, have not stuck from what he did last year. So I think we have to be a little bit concerned, and Vinny P passed him. So
yeah, well, I was going to say Vinny P's now in Kansas City. Nick Prado, nah, not so much. And speaking of Melendez, I'm out of it in the XFL, so I traded Tommy Edmond for MJ Melendez in a fourth. So I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing there.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's going to compete with Sal Perez, but I think he's going to get enough time to catch and remain catcher eligible, and it's huge power there, Timmy. He's going to be really good. So yet another great young catcher who's coming up. So.
Well, yeah, there's no shortage of great young catchers, and you got them all on your list.
12 of them, Tim. So
12 catchers, and
there's only 28 pitchers, which I think is the lowest I've ever had.
And that doesn't mention the Astros calling up Lee either, does it?
Oh, Corey Lee, yeah. He's not on this list. He just missed it. Says another guy that just missed it. So I actually have Corey Lee in a couple of dynasty leagues. I kind of like him. He might be a second catcher in a fantasy league, but I think there's more in the bat than he showed. So
okay. Cool. Let's seeing as how we're talking about power, maybe it's time to switch to the New Hampshire Fisher Cats and look at Orelvis Martinez.
Huge power.
Well, yeah, we're looking at 17 home runs this year and 244 at bats. The Jays are just leaving him to free swing, aren't they?
They are, Timmy, and they like him, right? I mean, they are pushing him hard. He was one of their big international signs a few years ago, and I think he has a chance to be a full-time regular. I do. Is it going to come with a lower batting average than he wants? Probably, but he could hit 30 home runs too. So, I mean, you just have to know the parameters on these guys and know that there's very few guys that are going to hit with high on-base percentage who are going to have speed and power. Those guys are freaks. They don't come around very often.
Yeah, I was going to say they're up at the end of our discussion today, right? Something like that?
Yep, yeah. So, and trying to find the guys lower down or even off the 100 list that you think are going to be those true category stuffers. And that's what you're trying to find. And that's why guys like, we didn't talk about Vaughn Grissom. It's like, that's interesting. A guy can hit, and maybe there's 15-15. Gets a little stronger, Tim. Maybe there's a little bit more pop. So those are the guys that are very, very interesting that I think dynasty league owners should be really targeting. So,
well, yeah, and we're gonna head right into the player you've got ranked one spot ahead of Orelvis Martinez, and that's Emmanuel Rodriguez, and he is exactly the opposite, per se, of what Martinez is doing. He's walking 29% of the time. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, Timmy. I've checked multiple times. It might be down a little bit or up a little bit from when I wrote this.
Yeah.
That's not going to last, right? But I mean, if you tell me it's
crazy.
It's crazy. If you tell me it's a 14 or 15% walk rate when he gets to the highest level, he's going to post a 300 plus on base percentage with that kind of walk rate, no matter what he hits. There's huge raw power in there. He's got a little bit of speed. It's a really nice player that nobody talks about.
Well, exactly. Like I said, as I went through the list and I saw 29%, I took it's for a kid that most people, like you mentioned, haven't heard of. That's impressive.
Indeed.
Very, very impressive. Let's go to another catcher at 70, and Harry Ford in Seattle. Kid's got good wheels, doesn't he?
It's Dalton Varsho. This is a Dalton Varsho. And again, I know Varsho has been a little disappointing. He hasn't hit as much as everybody thought. He's still stealing a ton of bases, Timmy. So he's going to be a top 10 catcher, right? I mean, just because he's going to put 15 to 20 stolen base, that could be Harry Ford. So I think you got to like him. I mean, he's going to be an offensive-minded catcher that's going to steal bases. So.
Okay, cool. At 69, we have Luis Matos of the Giants. You mentioned an unorthodox swing.